camera crew here too?
Nah, nothing like that. It's just a phone.
Well, let's see. Where should we start? So let's just do this. So I was born in 1959, which is many moons ago. And then I don't know how much you know about Vietnam, but Vietnam has a long history of conflicts, either fighting the enemy from outside of Vietnam or internal war. So this has always been a war all the time. I mean, I don't think there's very short peaceful period, but there's a lot of so. So 59 is just 4 years after there was a treaty to split Vietnam into pretty much half, the North and the South. That treaty was 1954. It's called the Treaty of Geneva in 1954. So the North part is communist, and the capital city is Hanoi. And the South part, the capital city is called Saigon, and today they call Ho Chi Minh City, but it goes Saigon. So the South part is, you can call the free world, right? Capitalism. So that was so I was born 4 years after that. My family, both my mom and my dad, all from the north, but my dad went to the south for just for opportunities, right? So he went to the south all by himself, and way before 1954, way before the country was split. He went, I believe it was in the 1940s. He went before 1940, 1930 something. He went south, and he started his own business, and he became a pretty successful businessman. And when Vietnam split, my mom and all my siblings moving to the south to live with my dad, because we don't want to live with the communists. And like I told you, right, it's a very different system. And if you want to talk about communism versus capitalism, is a whole different story, and it will take forever, right? But basically, it's just a very harsh system. And when the communists took over the power, because they cashing in on the Second World War, 1945, when the Axis basically, the German wasn't over there, but the Japanese was over there, right? And they were wiped out, and there was a vacuum of power there. And this has always been a conflict between the communists against the French. We were a French colony until the Second World War started, and then the Japanese come in and kick the French out. And then in 45, when the Allies, won, right, the French came back. Right? The French came back. So the communists continued to fight the French, and then the Japanese, and then the French again. They keep fighting, right? So yeah, so 1954, we all going down south. 4 years later, I was born. So we live in the capital city of Saigon. And like I said, my dad, he became a very successful businessman. He self-made. He became a millionaire. He became a self-made millionaire. We live well. I was the youngest of a family of 8. If we include my dad, mom, and dad is 10. So we live in a very big house with my dad, my mom, and my grandfather too. My grandfather also lived there. Back in the old days, my grandfather was an official of the emperor, one of the emperor. He's the head of one big village in the north. So that was my grandpa. So we all lived there, and I was the youngest one. I have like 6 sisters and 1 brother. I'm the youngest one. I don't get to see my brother much because in 1966, after he graduated from high school, he went straight to Switzerland to study abroad. You know, because in Vietnam there's always a war raging. Even though we live in a capital city, you have the communists going there and placing bombs and explode everywhere. It just you got explosion, and people drive by shooting. It's war over there. So it's not a safe condition. So my dad doesn't want to my brother to have his education in that condition. And at that time frame, because my dad, he makes good money, he had enough money to send my my brother overseas to study, to get a good education. And then he picked Switzerland for one specific reason. Switzerland is a neutral country, and all my family's members are still in the north. Like my dad, all his siblings and relatives, and my mom too, they all still in the north. So by sending my brother to Switzerland, we still have that contact. He can send letters from Switzerland to North Vietnam without any problem at all. We can't. On the south, we can't send like that. So it's still a link there. Once in a while, my brother contact, but you under the communist system, they're very tight about sending anything out of that country. So, but still, Switzerland is a better place to do that. They're neutral. Because Vietnam, they don't have any relationship with the United States or anybody. They are communist, right? So the only thing they cozy up is with China or any other communist country like Russia, something like that. So that's what them. So I grew up just like you guys. I go to school. I went to a private elementary school, which is like one house over from my house. There was an elementary school, a private one there, so I went there. It's run by a French Christian person, so I went through a French school system all the way through until the very last year of high school. I was in a French school system, so I speak more French than Vietnamese. I don't think there's anything particular school. You guys know high school what it looked like. My school is a little bit different. We have separate boys and girls class. The class only boy. My class is the only unique class that have half boy, half girl. But the other one is they separate the boys and the girls out. High school, I did pretty well. I was a very good student. And also, in my family, education is the number 1 priority. Don't mess around with that. My dad is really strict about that. Our job, it's a typically Vietnamese kind of like home. Like my dad is a breadwinner. His job is to go work, and he works a lot and take home money. Everything else in the house is run by my mom. My mom stay home, take care of all of us, run the house, and us go to school and get good grade. Because I don't know if it's relevant, but my dad, he never, even though he's a millionaire, he never got past 5th grade. He never got past 5th grade. Everything he does is he self-taught, self-learn, and get there. So he vowed himself that all his children are gonna have a college degree. I was the last one. That's the thing. So we just study. There's nothing much until the very last year when I was in 12th grade. In the middle of 12th grade was 1975. Then the war in Vietnam, end. Like the communists won. The American pulled out there a long time ago. The South, they pretty much like all the people who been supporting the South kind of bail out on them. And 1975, the catalyst is the communists ran over the South and they took over the whole country. So I was stuck there. I was halfway through my what you guys call senior year, right? 12th grade. So I have to repeat that to finish that one, that particular year. But because my dad, is a rich guy, and you know, if you know the communist thing is, the communist is all about the working class. If we are upper class, then we pretty much are the enemy of the state, right? So they took away a lot of our possession, a house and communist, right? You don't, everything is a state run, you know, it's a sharing kind of like system, right? So we lost pretty much everything. And because my dad is in that class, so I'm not good enough for a whole lot of things. I didn't have all the kind of like enough privilege to get to college. So at that time, I mean, I was 17, you know, and a lot of things happened and all those things. Looking back, I don't remember how much it affected me, but it's kind of like, you know, loss. I'm kind of like a loss, right? So, and after that, they put us, all of us, in a group called young. You gotta do something, right? They put in a group called I don't know how to translate in straight. They call the word in Vietnam. They call Thanh niên xung phong. It means xung phong is in volunteer. Basically, youth volunteer to do things. But actually, it's just, to me, if you're looking in the straightest and bare term, it's a labor camp. You just go there and do labor work on the field. Like the first thing that they want me to do when I was in that group is, they said, the Czechoslovakia or some other, you know, satellite communist country will come to Vietnam and build all this factory for pineapple factory, stuff like that. Because in Europe, like Poland or something, they don't have like tropical fruit, right? So, you know, and pineapple is something that's easy to grow, and you know, and there's an area that we can grow very well. So they said, okay, we have to go there and create those, you know, pineapple plantation. So we have to go there and do. So what I do is basically 7 days a week, and I don't know, maybe 14 hours a day, just digging irrigation, or kind of like you dig the irrigation between the rows that you're going to be growing pineapple, right? We're doing that for several years, every day.
But it isn't just like digging a hole.
No.
The weather there is different.
Yeah. So basically, you know, you start out from the ground floor, and you keep digging until you got mud, right? Mud. So probably around a certain distance, you pretty much covered with mud. I mean, there's a time that the mud is up to my neck, and all of that work is hand, just shovel and dig. There's no machine there. It just and guess what? All this you have to do. There's only one of them that actually become something that have a factory there. The rest we build so many, and there's nothing that nobody comes. There's nothing. It's just a way of punish us or whatever that is, right? But the condition is horrible. The condition of live there horrible. Like we will live in what I don't know what the word you call, because there is no wall. We have like a little house, but there is no wall around it. It's just a very low roof, and
stilts.
yeah, built up with hay and stuff like that on top of it, with mud and hay, but there's no wall. And it's about, how do I say, it's about, the length of it is about like half the size of the football field, half the size of the length. And there's 120 to 150 of us in there, laying in there, sleep every night. And there is no separation between boys and girls. We got so tired, we just crash every night. I mean, there's a night that I slept there and rain drop, tired or wet, but I don't care. I'm just tired because 5 in the morning, you gotta wake up. You gotta wake up, get ready, you know, eat breakfast, get ready. And breakfast is a kind of like, well, mountain breakfast. There's nothing breakfast. It's just rice and pretty much nothing else, right? And salt and some fish sauce. And then we start going to work very early in the morning. So we were probably on the field around 7 in the morning until like 5, 6 p.m. And we got back to the camp, take a shower, eat something, and then we have to go study. Marxist and Lenin about communism. We have to go study. And around 9 o'clock, you're back to the camp, sleep, and then wake up 5 in the morning, go do it again. So like, it's just like that, days and days. I did that for 3 years. It's no fun. And it's an open field too. I remember one time it was raining, and it's flat in that area. It's just flat. There's nothing there. It's flat. So I remember one day it was raining really hard, and there's lightning. So we have to rush back to the camp. And it's slippery. It's just all mud. It's just mud everywhere. It's very slippery. We have to run back, and one guy, this was like, I was running on this little narrow road here. He was only, it was like maybe about that palm tree there, and it's a flat field. You can see him running.
Across the street.
Yeah, we running. He's on. I can see it, but I was a little bit behind. See, and he have his shovel up on it. Lightning strike. That guy. That instant. He have his shovel up. Things like that, you know. I was in charge of a group of 24 people because I was the most educated one in that group. I actually I finished high school, a little bit educated, and I think I'm a little bit, everybody in the group like me, so I become a leader of that group 24. We're a Thai group. We're a Thai group. We came back that unscathed. I mean, after those years. But then in '79, there is a war with Cambodia. I don't know if you heard about that. The Khmer Rouge. So Cambodia is a neighbor country with Vietnam, and they also become a communist country too. But they are extremists. They are crazy. So they call themselves the Khmer. Khmer is a name for Cambodian. Khmer, but they call them Khmer Rouge, which is the red Khmer. Rouge is a French word for red. Is a communist, and their philosophy is very extreme. It's more than Vietnam. Like when the communists take over that country, they do genocide. They want to wipe everybody out and start new. If you're not part of the Khmer Rouge, beware. They start up with all the people who are educated, scholars, all like that. But by doing that, they also wipe out, because there's a big Vietnamese population in Cambodia. They wipe out the Vietnamese too. So it become a conflict with Vietnam. So there is a war between, even though they're both communists, there is a war between the two. So we're still not good enough to hold a gun, because we're still enemy of the state, right? So we were just put into the role of supporting the soldier. So either we go and help them, like dig defensive trenches, right? Trenches for them,
Foxholes.
And then also once in a while we have to clean up the battlefield too. Fun. Clean up the battlefield. That's the fun part.
Bury the dead.
Yeah, just clean it up. So that's what I do for a while. My group of 24. After that, we've been doing that for I think for around 9 months, and then I got really sick. Not even 9 months. I got really sick because we live in the jungle a lot, and I got malaria. That's why they sent me home, because I got malaria. But my second in command, we lost a lot of people because of the minefields. The Khmer Rouge, they rig up the minefield everywhere. So, my second in command, and he's a very good friend of mine. One day we came back from the field. So the soldier, they mark with flag. You have to walk between this line. Don't walk out, because there's no guarantee that there's no mine there. This path they clear. Around that, it's not clear yet, so you have to go on this path. So you know, it's late in the day. My friend, you know, saying, man, the camp is almost there. He cut across, hit the mine, and even though he wear like you see like the communist soldier, they usually wear like a little pouch in front here to hold like the ammunition cartridge. Right? They have like in the pocket here to hold like those cartridge for the AK-47 hold it. And in our group, we actually have he has a gun because somebody has to protect this whole group, right? So he has a gun and he has this, and he hit the mine and the mine exploded and the shrapnel poked right through that rest, right through the ammunition cartridge, hit his chest, multiple places. They took him to some of the military hospital, but he didn't survive. After that campaign, I was knocked out like after I can't remember between 6 or 8. I can't remember. I have a malaria, so I went home earlier. But after that war done, the group of 24 is only 8 left. The 24 of us, there's only 8 survive that I know of. So I got malaria. I came back. They sent me back. I was knocked out like a couple months in bed. I can't do anything. I mean, it's just a couple months.
A lot of people die from malaria.
Yeah, I got very severe, but I'm lucky that one of my cousin, he's in the North Vietnamese. He was a pharmacist, but he's in the North Army for North Army. So he had a lot of medicine. He gave me a lot of good stuff. There's a couple of pills from from China, the China soldier use. He told me there's one. It's round like this. It's like that one. Yeah, like this. This side here. One is a red. One is a white one, and one is a black one. He told me it depends on what you want, right? One will make you throw up really bad. One will make you. The other one will give you a nasty headache. But either one will fix your problem.
Which do you want?
Which one do you want, right? He told me, you know, if I were you, right, I take the one that vomit because at least you vomit it out, but you know, a few times a day you vomit, but you don't have a headache that keep going and buzz you, right? So I took that one, and after a few months, I actually got out of it. I'm fine. I didn't die from malaria. I'm fine. But here's the fun part. That was 1979, right? And after I went through all that